interruption.
Yeah, a little technical difficulties. A little static was going on, so you guys were struggling to hear us, so we done restarted it. Thanks for that, Angel. If somebody could maybe get on there and check and see if we're still staticky.
Yep, I'll get on there right now. Yep, I'll get on there right now.
No, you're good. Everything's good.
Perfect. Get on there right now.
Yeah, so back to just continuing what we were saying there. A little bit of late night racing, a little bit of earlier racing. We absolutely have to be able to split the guys in half for two reasons. One, so that the development guys can showcase and broadcast what they have to the captains and admins, and it's really hard to be able to see who's doing what when you got 60 cars out there. And also on top of that is we want the racing experience to be the best it can be for those guys themselves. You know, with 30, 40 drivers in both races, there tends to be a lot of incidences, especially without having cautions on. So, yeah, where the development got a lot of big plans coming into the season for them to give them the best case they can to showcase what they have.
You know, while we're talking about development, I think I want to say here too, guys, for those of you in the development series still working on getting signed, one thing that can play hugely to your advantage is streaming your gameplay as you do. Me, myself, my personal experience, I'd probably recommend shutting the voice settings off for it. But it lets the captains ride along with you every step of the race, and it makes it so much easier to judge your skill level, and really increases your chances of getting picked up.
Yeah, because actually to go a little bit further into that, you know, with what Nels was saying, other than just your skill level, we can maybe see a few corrections that, you know, you might be doing one or two things wrong, like going too hard into the corners, causing you to get loose, or causing you to plow up into the straightaway, where we might be able to even write you and be like, hey, you know, why don't you try changing this? And then we'll watch your next week's broadcast, and if you're made those corrections, it might even actually help you get in quicker, you know, listening to the captains and stuff on some corrections. We're here to help everybody, you know, and that's what the development is for. We want to look at people and try to make everyone that comes to us the best driver they can be on the game.
And that's something else, too, for you to do, like you were talking about, not only their driving style, but how they enter pit road and exit. I know that was not a big issue, but we did have a couple small complications. I mean, it's the whole well-rounded. I mean, the captains want to see everything, not just how you drive, but how you pass and how you deal with certain situations. But it's the whole kit and caboodle. So, you know, again, everybody out there, just the other night, last night, as a matter of fact, for the Iowa race, I'm not going to mention any names, but young guy said, hey, can you help me out a little bit? You know, I've been having some complications, no problem. Took my time out. Rupert offered to help him out, too. Again, anybody's willing to help anybody out, especially in development, man. We don't want to see anybody left behind, but we want to see great racing there also.
Yeah, real quick on the entering and exiting pit lane, I don't know if Nelco is necessarily the captain to be helping people with exiting pit lane here.
Ooh, shots fired.
Yeah, that's my shifter.
And I'm not the guy to help you get in.
Oh, it's done. I've been struggling with it.
Yeah, getting on off pit road is definitely something that a lot of drivers struggle with. I've struggled with it. We've all had it bite us in the butt a couple times during races.
Yeah, so while we're talking about captains being able to help you, we have Coco, Noco, Money, Mike, GFZ in here. Man, go through this. This is your first season with the Giggity Racing League, and your first time really experiencing the team aspect that we have. And you were signed with one of, if not the absolute best that we have to offer here at Giggity, our Custom Cup champion, Noco. Just go through the process that you went with this year on being able to have Noco guide you and help you along the way throughout the season.
Yeah, he helped out a lot.
Oh.
At first, you know, like, this is my first league. I just got into the racing game right at the end of Heat 3. And then, you know, I got a hold with you, Cont'd, and got going a couple late last Season 2 races. And when Noco randomly messaged me, you know, told me he drafted me. And right then and there, you know, we was in a team chat. And I was nervous as heck the first race. at Daytona, and we had at that time we had Daytona in Atlanta, and I just simply told him my game plan, and he listened, party chatted with me, we did practices, and he worked with me. I mean, I'm not the fastest guy out there by no means, but any question you have, he tells you exactly how he would do it, and you work together. And then our whole team chat. I mean, any question I ever had, somebody answers. If I need practice, somebody's there. And from race one to the end of the season, I mean, me personally, I just feel like a way better driver. And you can't, and I'm pretty sure every team's like that. That's what I love this. I love this league because of it. I mean, I feel like I'm close to all you guys, and we talk on a daily basis now, and it's a dream come true, to be honest with you.
And to bring up that whole team aspect too, everybody wanting to help everybody. Again, I got picked up by Etho and Roofer for DSR. They made a deal with Robbie, so I was still in the trucks, not fighting for points. And there's been a couple races where, at that point in time, Robbie didn't have anybody else. I really didn't have any quote-unquote team members. And thank you, K-Taddy and Underdog, for letting me join in. Again, even though I was on a different team and I could hear your strategy, again, your secret's safe with me, but everybody helped everybody out. They said, no, Puddin', we don't want you left out. And I see that a lot. So thank you to Underdogs for let me join in with you guys this year for a couple races.
Yeah, we were trying to figure out Robbie's team plan, but thanks for not.
Puddin', we don't have no plan. It's go fast, turn. I can't say left because sometimes we have to turn right.
I prefer to turn right, but I like turn left too. But I mean, I think, again, like what Mike just said too, I've got to know all of you guys so well, and it turned from a recreational point for me that this was since I travel so much, I don't get to go out and quote unquote have a social life and meet people. So I consider a lot of you guys some really good friends, and just to be able to talk to you on a day like Mike said, it's awesome. I love what Giggity has, and I'm an honor to be a part of it.
Like you sometimes. Nah, but you're one of my best friends on here, man. We kick it every day.
Well, guys, you guys want to start in the trucks and then work our way up and review the season there?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Taddy asked a question. He's ghosted now.
Yeah. Taddy gone.
No, I'm here. So the truck series, we've had a little bit of complication. Real quick, so, does somebody have the broadcast going in the background? I'm hearing an echo. Anyways, so our truck series throughout the season, we've had a complication with drivers joining that, we don't want to throw a driver straight from development into a higher series, so we like them going through the process, but at the same time, we don't want to take a completely new guy, and make him feel uncomfortable by immediately racing against the best of the best and, the Cup Series, so to say. So UK Wildcats this season, he come in, he run for Team Noco, and he dominated a lot of races. But what I've seen from him is, as a leader, he was a great job with both the Team Noco and other drivers in the Truck Series. He showed a lot of commitment, dedication, getting on there, practicing, and just what we've been looking for through everyone. He did a great leadership role. And I, for one, if you're listening to this, Andrew Bolander, man, you are exactly what we need as a champion going forward throughout the rest of the seasons here with Giggity. So for me, K-Taddy, I want to say congratulations for sure on your championship.
And we're getting a good feedback out there in YouTube land. We got 11 viewers, so what's up to you guys out there?
NRG, what's up, buddy?
Dads?
Dads.
I'm not your dad, kid.
What's up, fellas?
How we doing, NRG? Glad to have you.
Yep, just doing some testing for my league race tonight. Not going good.
Well,
I'm
you got
doomed.
one of the best team captains, as we're sitting here just actually talking about Team NoCo and UK Wildcats picking up that championship, man. Definitely congratulations, well earned, buddy. NRG, you're going to be start running for Team NoCo next year?
Robbie.
Negative.
Robbie Biggs.
Oh, Shinoko. Yeah, that's right. I forgot. It's the off. It's the split off.
Yep, I'll be running Wednesday night's custom.
Okay, good.
Excited to have you on board, man, and especially another Ohio buddy. You yourself and myself, NPP, No Pit Pendle.
Yeah. There's quite, I don't know, I've met quite a few people from Ohio recently. It's kind of weird.
It is crazy, isn't it?
So to continue on with our truck series chat here, Wicked Gatekeeper, you got to do a lot of a few broadcasts on Monday nights for the trucks. You actually brought in our first live scoreboard as the race was going on. Take us through how you felt about some of the racing that was happening in what we consider one of the lower series, but the caliber of drivers obviously is still there. Just take us back to what you were thinking of the racing.
It was you're on edge. At least me. I find myself standing up, pacing back and forth across the living room, just every time there's a little caution or something, just because the racing's so intense. But it's great to see a constant field of new drivers coming in. I know there for a little while we lost a couple drivers, and we filled them right back up with the draft guys. So it was just great to see guys pushing it hard, taking their time, giving respect, and wanting to prove that they can take it a step forward. And it's been great to watch. I know UK kind of won quite a few, but it was fun to see. I'm sure.
You definitely put on a good season.
There was some good races, 2nd through 10th. We all knew UK was going to get the win, but that fight for 2nd was a lot of fun.
Just so that any of our viewers that may not know, the Truck Series and Developmental are the only 2 series that we do not offer a custom setup to. Again, we're bringing newer people in. We're letting people run, seeing what all they have before we get them moved up into the custom setups. We want to make sure they can handle a car. And go ahead, Energy. You were about to say something.
You nailed exactly what I was going to say. I was going to ask, is truck going to be custom next season? I couldn't remember. But you
I guess that's a good thing I cut you off.
Yep.
Well, actually,
2 other drivers that are in here. Angel, I'm going to let you talk in just a second, but this is a fairly new season for you guys in the asphalt, and especially you, Puddin, running with Giggity. We'll start with you, Angel, so you can put your sense in here, but how did you guys feel about the truck racing as being members that were on track driving with the guys?
it's a blast, man. I'm gonna tell you what, it's my favorite series that we have so far. It always puts on a good show, but I had fun racing with Puddin. I know that everybody just like me, we just watch UK run away with it. But dude, it's great racing everywhere throughout the field. The trucks handle well, and it's good for people that are just starting.
I love running in the trucks personally. It is I wouldn't say a great beginner scale because we've all run Cup, we've all run Xfinity. I feel the trucks are a little bit easier to manage, especially for the guys coming out of development. There's a lot of great drivers in there. I call her the fast female of Giggity. Bad Moon Rising's always with that. UK, Money Mike's always won. Dimebags, Arch are one and only over there. So when you look at that roll call, you know that you're in for a good race that night. And there was a lot of good, clean racing. Unfortunately, every now and then there was a little bit of mishaps. Tempers flare, but we saw that all season through. All throughout the year. But ultimately, and I love the new schedule. I was reviewing it just the other day, feeling really confident about that. See a couple courses or a couple tracks that I really look forward to. But I love the opportunity to be in truck. I had the opportunity to go to Xfinity and said for my first full season, I want to do it right. I want to do full truck, and I'm excited to be here. So I'm looking forward to it.
Heck yeah, man. Awesome.
But I was gonna let you guys know that actually for the experienced drivers of Giggity that want to, I've been thinking about, seems how we're trying to get some more late night racing in, starting a late night custom truck series.
Well, that can be fun, yeah. I know, especially here in the off season. I mean, just the other night after the Iowa race last night, we had a fun lobby. It was just a public lobby. It was 32 trucks of nothing but Giggity drivers. And we went through half of the field. I mean, half of the tracks last night. And I mean, again, ranging anywhere. Wicked Gatekeeper at the.
To get booted, it's just, I mean.
Oh, sorry everybody. I totally forgot I was the one broadcasting. We were blue screen there for a sec. Just sending Buck an invite. My bad. Sorry, guys.
Basically, everything that we just heard in here, nobody else heard out there, because, you know, Mills is new to that broadcasting thing.
Oh!
But what I did hear there, Puddin', you said you edged out Wicked Gatekeeper at the line, which says to me that that's a new truck driver for next season. Wicked Gatekeeper, well, no, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Got my new wheel and I'm getting practice.
And that's something else too, guys. I mean, there's so many inside jokes. There's so much banter that goes between the friendships. I mean, everybody knows when everybody calls me Money Mike. He's my hitchhiking buddy. You know, there's so much out there. The fun level, and these public lobbies, I get spoiled because there's so many of us. Within 15 minutes of somebody jumping online, it's a private lobby, almost a full lobby of great racing with you guys. So thanks to everybody out in Giggity too. But I'm really excited. We just got Buck in here too. The Roble Chicane Master. He made that thing. He just ate that thing up. I'm not over that.
I guess it's time for me to leave this party chat.
Oh boy, here we go.
I'm just kidding, buddy.
It is true though. Like Buck through the chicanes at the Roval was just in his own zip code. Like he was gone. Almost messed it up on the last two laps though.
Custom.
Pretty darn close.
We're not gonna talk about that.
Hey, you still got it done, man.
Yeah, that if I didn't win that race, I would have had to buy another remote. But we're fine. We're fine. I am honestly like the Kyle Busch of this series in a way. Not like speed wise, but getting mad.
Yeah, definitely. Lucky Bucky, we call.
And real quick, guys, again, as most of you know, I'm not trying to interrupt you. I'm watching on the stream, trying to keep up with everybody's chat. I'm not familiar with your street names, I guess, so if you could put your gamer tag name just so, make it a little bit easier for everybody else out there and myself. But then we got 15 people watching, a lot of comments. We got Marcus out there. We got Martin, Grimm's out there. Fast Claire says he's out there watching. He says he's going to put on a good season for next year. So, I mean, we got to let all these people out there. This is awesome.
Definitely. Thanks, y'all, for coming out and watching. I mean, it's the only reason we do it. We don't do it for ourselves. We do it for you guys. But I'm excited for the season coming up. Caddy, you want to take us into Xfinity? I know that we run what, Thursdays and Saturdays?
Yeah, Thursdays is our custom Xfinity series. Saturday is our preset Xfinity series. Both series this season won by one driver. Noco's own Jake Giroux dominated the season, and I mean from start to finish. We had top drivers such as, well, no, technically it's not a two-time, even though it was Xfinity, it was two separate series, so it's still just a single championship. One being custom, one being preset. But we had other top contenders throughout the season. We had G9 Gamer. He started out the season real strong, and then he lost the PS4. He didn't have one. He returned at the end. Didn't quite seem to have the same edge, but without practicing every week, it's hard to stay there. No Pit Pendle, top contender. Bad for You Racing. He was the top guy in both. I think he made the playoffs top three top four entering into Saturday's preset series. And I mean, there were so many more. You know, Boomhauer, he joined halfway through the season, got the final victory at Talladega for the series. I mean, there was a lot of guys that were up there contending week in and week out. And Jake Drew, cup caliber driver for sure. I mean, he just dominated. He showed what he had, and congratulations and great job all year to him as well.
And if anybody out there didn't go back to rewatch that Talladega Xfinity race that Boom won for the championship, the last 3 laps, Jake had an incident with his pet, knocked his PS4 out. He smacked that wall. Then all of a sudden, Jackson Strong, he's right there. What's he do? He ends up hitting the apron and spin. That gave it to No Pit, but No Pit was a little bit further behind. So guys, that was one heck of a finish. The drama in those last 5 laps was so intense for the Xfinity Championship at Talladega. It is worth a watch, guys.
Yeah, Puddin had a slight heart attack trying to call that race, actually.
Yeah. and speaking of
Hashtag truth.
Habab, he won't be with us next year because he's off Army right now. So just a shout out for Habab. He will be missing quite a bit of weeks because of basics, I believe.
Yes, and thank you again. We brought that up. We've got a lot of veterans out there. I was in the Air Force. Boomhauer's in the Army. I've talked to quite a few other veterans out there. Thank you for your service, and Bob, we wish you best of luck and can't wait to have you back also, man.
Ooh-ah, Bob, ooh-ah.
Definitely.
So I guess one thing I wanted to ask, and as a captain I should probably know this, but are the champions from the Truck Series and the Xfinity Series moving up next season?
Both of them are, yeah. UK is going up to the Xfinity, and Jake is going to be running Cup preset on Sunday.
Noco's going to the Hall of Fame, so he's going to be retiring, thankfully.
He gets his own car, man.
Saying I have a chance.
That's it, I'm retiring.
Nah, this is his last
made
season. He's
him a
like
car.
Jimmy Johnson.
The NASCAR Cup Series made Noco a car. The 88 of Alex Bowman will be driving the Noco Chevrolet.
which is freaking awesome.
Wait, did they really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
That's what I said. Noco gets his own car. God. He did so good.
You were. That's insane.
Once it comes out.
Do you guys have any preseason picks for Xfinity champion or even in the top 5?
UK.
Yeah. UK has to be up there.
Honestly, the guy that ran the Mark Martin style, always bridesmaid, never the bride, no Pit Pendle, I look at him as being one of, if not the hardest person to beat this season.
And
bad for you, always a top contender there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he's fast.
Well, and then you got Coke FN too, so.
Yeah, I mean, actually, I'm really interested to see it because we're gonna have, No Pit Pendle's gonna be running as Noco said, the Saturday preset series because of scheduling conflict. So that's going to be the point system that he runs for. Actually, real quick, while we're on this topic, this is going to be the first series that has 2, both an Xfinity and a custom going into next season. And we're doing it a little different this year. You are still eligible to run both nights, but you must declare which one you're going to run for points in. And so the people that you see on Saturday will not necessarily be the people you see on Thursdays, as if you declare to run one or the other, you must try to dash your way into the other to make the field. You're not guaranteed a spot. So I'm really looking forward to seeing some different faces up there. We're doing this with both the Cup Series and the Xfinity Series, so I'm looking really forward to seeing how that goes and getting to see some different faces up there winning the races week in and week out.
Excited to see Kigo. Kigo be an Xfinity.
New Dirtbringer coming in.
Yeah, Dirtman. I've been racing with him lately. Him and T. Clay, they've been working real good. They'll be Xfinity partners. But yeah, like you said, Kigo, the dirt guy, really.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. Before we shift gears away from this topic, I just want to expand on that just a little bit more. So on that note, driver has to declare which night he scores points on. Now, the driver can work with the captain or vice versa to share that car between the 2 nights. One driver can run it.
Yeah, perfect. I'm glad you said that. For example, in the Cup Series coming this season, on Sunday, I'm going to have Go the Flow will be driving the 17 Roush Fenway Ford, but even though he's running that on Sunday, he's not going to be running at all. He won't be dashing in. He won't be running at all on Wednesdays, as Fluffy is going to be running that same car. So even though you're seeing the same car on the 2 nights, it does not necessarily mean it's the same driver. What this does is it actually gives the captains way. Again, we talked about this earlier, how we have 200 drivers total. We have half of that is in the development series alone. This is a way for us to be able to give more people more seats and be able to run for points on a consistent basis week in and week out, as each captain is allowed 4 cars total per night. If there's an empty seat, then you can hot seat. For example, say Noko has an empty car on a Thursday, and he's thinking, oh, Coco Mike here is doing a good job. He can bring him up and say, hey, let's let you hot seat and let's see how you can do. With that said, the hot seaters have to dash in against, for example, on Thursday, all the preset guys want to try to dash their way in. All the hot seaters are in that same dash. So it's a good compilation to see where these guys rate amongst the way. But definitely, I'm glad you brought that up. You can definitely see 2 different people driving the same car just between the 2 nights.
Now, that's a good point, too. We got 3 captains up here. Are you guys specifically leaving a available spot in each series for a hot seat, or are you guys going to fill certain ones and then leave a hot seat available, or are you going to fill your whole team up? That's a good
Cup
point.
car numbers to Xfinity, right?
So, to answer your question, I know Robbie Vids, for example, he's not in here with us in the chat, but I know that he plans on leaving at least 1 seat open for hot seat purposes. I, on the other hand, on the preset end, I filled up all my team. On the custom side, I did not do so. I've left a seat on the custom side. I know what most of the guys can do on preset, but I'm not so sure yet what they can do on custom, so I want to work them in slowly instead of just saying, okay, you're running customs for sure this next season. I want to see what they can do this first season before we move them up into customs maybe the following season.
Just picking your brain just a little bit, you know. I mean, again, you guys got a good strategy. Everybody is selecting people for reasons and stuff. So I was just curious about that, but
Yeah, no,
I like how that's going to
me
work.
on my end, I do not have much for spare space right now. I'm packed solid. So
Stupid question here, but how many teams does Giggity have officially for this next season?
I'm glad you bring that up. Technically, throughout all series, we have 8 teams. However, on Wednesday's Custom Cup ride, none of the teams decided to take the JVR Toyotas, so on Wednesday's Custom Cup only, we will be piloting a 9th team. The On a Mission group will be coming over and piloting the JVR Toyotas as a 4-car team. And then every other series throughout there, including Custom Cup, we have 8 typical captains and teams. We have Mills with the Canucks. We have Melko with Team Melko, RJ Smitty, RJ Motorsports. Myself with the Underdogs. We have Robbie Vids with Shinoko. Edzo with DSR. We have Little Man with Get Her Done Racing, and we have Trey running the Hit Motorsports team.
And if anybody out there in YouTube land has any questions about upcoming points or anything like that, or the new rules, feel free to ask. We're trying to get everything covered as much as possible as we go and review the season at the same time. But if there's any questions from the people out there watching, again, we got quite a few. We do appreciate it. And yeah, ask your questions away. We got some administrators and captains up here who can give you the proper answer instead of having it filtered down and giving you a not so true answer. This one, it comes right from the horse's mouth.
And another thing I wanted to put out there real quick, I'm seeing a few in this conversation. Barry Springer, Joey Doucette, Dark Knight and Jay Doucette, they're in here, and that they actually, Joey Doucette, he's new to the league. He just crossed over from elsewhere to here. He's going to be running the Thursday Custom Series, and Darren Owens 19XXX. These guys are, Dark Knight's been around a little while, but the other two, they're fairly new to the league. So even though we brought up the names of Pendle, Bad For You, these guys that, UK Wildcats, guys that we've all heard of this season, you have to keep in mind that we're going off what we've seen, not the unknown. The unknown drivers, that's what this is based upon. Get your name out there, show yourself to be a top contender. And this is opening the door for, instead of the same 2 or 3 guys, we're now have an opportunity to have 10, 15 guys that we're talking about in one series on a week in and week out basis.
And I have a quick question before something else too, before it loses my mind. How did you come up with each series schedule?
We got an administrative group this season. Captains are simply that they're going to be captains. They're going to help put the rosters together for the for all the different series. But at the same time, we have an administrative group that, for example, the Wednesday Custom Cup series, I'm in charge of that. I'm in charge of doing the penalizations, the watching the video, the making the schedule. Every night of the week, we have a different person in charge of doing that. This goes from setting up the lobbies, this scheduling, reviewing all the video that they can find on a race afterwards. So they're trying to get people's live streams. One person and or one group, that person can kind of pick a few people to help them. They're going to be in charge of that. Also, on that same note, I'm glad you brought that up. One of the administrators is actually in here. Wicked Gatekeeper is now our social media administrator. His job is to get on there and go through our Twitter, go through our Facebook, do stuff like that. And he's appointed Money Mike in here to help him out. And Money Mike's the one that's actually been posting on Twitter and keeping it up to date.
Thanks for what you guys do, man. That's a lot of work, and we all know the administrators. Kate Taddy, we know you got work, and same thing with Noko and Wicked and Mills. And I know you guys are at work a lot of times, and you get your phone blows up. So you guys never miss a beat. So that's awesome. So that's all. Thanks again, Wicked and Monty, for what you guys do too. If there's anything I can do to help out, again, I'm not necessarily big social media. I'm working on it, but we're. I'll see if I can do anything to help, just like Arch. If there's any way I can help out or gig it in any shape, form, or way, I'm here for you guys. I don't have much. I don't have much to do. I got a lot of time on my hands, so.
Well, I appreciate it, and we'll definitely see what we can do to help expand the league. I know we grew a lot this last season. I think we're up over 317 subs just on YouTube alone.
Yeah.
So we really
people don't understand. The Twitter world is where you get a lot of exposure to. I mean, I personally have went on my own personal Twitter, and I've had Spencer Boyd, because I used to drive the number 20 truck. I've had him follow me. I've had him like me. I know Noko has people following him. That's another. I mean, Twitter really does help out a lot. It really does.
Yeah, once I get another phone, I'll have to reactivate mine. But social media is a huge aspect in this world, as you guys know, and it's great that it helps expand. There's a lot of good ambassadors out there, too. A lot of our development drivers, Dirt Dog himself, he anytime he's in a lobby, he says, hey, guys, and he'll scout out, He's like, nah, you're not quite ready, or hey, I'll recommend you. So Dirt Dog, I know Mr. Leroy, he does the same thing. He a lot of these guys out there, some of them aren't in Giggity all the way. Mango, he is another guy, but he helps really participates. He follows the podcast, he follows the broadcast, he follows the racing, and they help promote us too. So it's great to see that out there.
I mean, let's put it in perspective. We're not even racing right now. We're just simply sitting around here having a talk on a round table, and we have 18 live viewers right now. I mean, it's crazy, Go ahead. I think that was Noko.
Yeah, so actually there was a question that was brought up in the chat. It says, are we running for money next season? No, that's actually a fake rumor. We will not be running for money next season. I don't know where that rumor came about, but no, we're not running for money. We're running for bragging rights and pats on the back. That's about it.
Now, with that said,
I think if we ran for money, that would just make everything...
Yeah, I mean, we have in the past, we've had money races, but if and when that happens, I'm going to throw it out there right now. Nobody will know prior. This past season, we were sponsored by Potter Welding Cup Series is what we were called. It was a welding and fabrication company that once a month they would throw in $10 for a race for our Sunday Cup Series. Nobody knew when those races were coming because, quite frankly, when people know that you're racing for money or if that's a possibility, ridiculous. I've seen it in a lot of leagues that they try offering that, and the racing is god awful. And so I'll know prior when the money's on the line, and I won't publicize that. Nobody would know. And after the race is over, I think Noko, you received some money. Energy, you're in here. I think you received some money one time. They had no idea. And then when the race was over, I sent them their $10 PSN card. So
That's
I mean,
awesome how you do that too with the PSN
yeah.
card. Anybody can use an extra month.
Hey,
Yeah,
just
I
want
mean,
to
I'm
say,
throwing it out
Hunty,
there,
what's
yeah.
up, Hunty?
Yeah, so to answer the question on the money, we have no interest of trying to make this a money league. The racing would just not be the same. But at the same time, there have been times in the past that yes, people have gotten $10 here and there.
But there has been people noticed, from higher organizations that do pay attention to Giggity. So I mean, I think that's bigger than money.
Hey now.
Marcus, what's up, man? I just want to give a shout out to these guys in the chat. Hunty and Marcus joining the chat. What's up, guys? Appreciate the support. Glad you guys come in here and listen to us. I don't know, guys. I think I want to recap a little bit of the championship night of all 3 races.
Yeah.
Or all 3 series. Start with the trucks, man. That was pretty intense.
Yeah, I had a first-hand look at that one. I was trying my best. I was trying not to get in the way of the championship contenders. I was trying to race with them, not interfere. Made a mistake. Forgot to pit after I made my adjustments. Went to go to the bathroom. Forgot to hit the X button. Next thing I know, I come out. I'm on the pole, and I'm like, "Oh, this is not good." 6% tires is not what I wanted to see.
A caution comes out.
And then a caution comes out. So. But yeah,
one of very
Napa and UK were putting on one heck of a show, Money Mike. I know you were there too, watching.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I think Napa actually lagged out one race the whole entire year. He had not lagged out, and he lagged out in the championship race.
Hey, I was in the booth for that, wasn't I?
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
you were. Yep.
Yeah, me and you was.
That's right.
But the consistency too, like you said, the people who don't lag out, the people who can make it every week. It's not necessarily where you finish; it's how you finish, and you just accumulate points. Champion, we're not doing stage points next year, but I thought that was very valuable to a lot of these people. I know Old Guy was up there. A lot of those people, they raced every week, and that helped them through. Not that they're bad drivers, but that helped propel them to the top for the championship race. And I think it was awesome that it was on ISM too instead of Homestead changing it up. I know we're doing that next year. I know NASCAR's going there next year too. So I think that was really cool how that worked out.
I think it would be cool to be able to see with the new points format that is going to be ran this year, who would have won on what nights. I mean, some nights it's obvious who would have gotten the overall points championship without there being playoff cuts and stuff like that. But it would be interesting for some of the other nights to see where everyone would have finished in points.
Yeah, so actually, on that note, I'm glad you brought that up. I actually have done that. The champion of the season had gone an old school format of just simply throughout the season, no playoffs, no nothing. Pro 75 would have been your champion.
For
truck?
With
the most consistency. Yeah, he
Pro
would have been
75 would have been the champion if it was old school points. He would have been crowned with the title instead of UK Wildcat. Still Team NOCO, but different outcome on champion.
Yeah,
That's
he had
crazy.
about, what was it, it was like 100 and something point lead.
Well, it wasn't quite that high. Him and Sports Legend were both pretty close. I think it was about 60 points. But then once we got into the playoffs, Sports Legend unfortunately had a horrible run throughout the playoffs, and so he was finishing a lot further back than Pro 75. But with consistency throughout all of it, Pro 75 would have had become the champion.
Definitely. So again, some questions in the chat. They're asking, are we still doing the playoff cuts or no playoffs? And the answer to that is no. I feel like I agree. I think all the admins are going to agree when I say this. Taking the playoffs out of the picture is definitely going to simmer down some of that aggression in those final races. You get a lot of tempers flaring. You're on the bubble. Things can happen on the track that might not always be in your favor. It might not always be something that you can control. So taking away the playoff format, I think it's really going to be dependent on the guys that are going to show up. Attendance is going to be half of your grade right there. So if you show up for every race, you got a shot to win the championship.
Yeah, another thing to go with that, actually. So with the playoffs, are they gone this year? Like Noco said, yes, 100%. This next season, there will not be any playoffs in any series across the board. Does that mean that Giggity Racing League will never run playoffs again? Absolutely not. We are in what people consider a rebuilding year. We've had a lot of drivers within this last season join. We started for season 1, 8 drivers. Season 2, we had about 30. Season 3, this last season, we did a draft for, 89 drivers, and now we're at 200 drivers. So it's a rebuilding season while people are getting used to each other and learning how to drive around each other. We need to find a way to minimize the aggression, and the best way to do that is take the playoff option away. So at the end of a race, if you're running 5th and you're battling for 4th, maybe instead of taking each other out, you'll just be happy with that top 5 instead of getting spun on the accidental contact and finishing 12th. People won't take those same risks is the hope. And again, so it's just a rebuilding season. Yeah, and it helps with lagouts because even just showing up, you're going to get the points. So it also pays for the guys that show up each week.
Now, when you say old school points, for example, there's 32 trucks allowed in a field. So 32 goes to first, and then it reverses all the way down to 32nd, receives 1. Is that how you're doing it?
No. So there will still be, if you get a win, there will still be a 5-point gap. So the winner will get 40 points. Second place will get 35 to give a little bit more of a benefit for those. Also, something like that, because we're doing old school points, back in the day they didn't race with stages on. We're not running with stages on. You're going to have 150% race. There will be no stages. It will be 3 times wear for the trucks, 3 times wear for the Xfinity, 2 times wear for Cup, and it will simply be run from start to finish. If caution happens, that's your one break. Other than that, it's going to be pit stops. And you're only getting that 1 set of points. We're going basically like the old Winston Cup.
Exactly, and then to expand on that, it's not only, to simmer down aggression in the playoffs, but, I can be a perfect example of this. I missed the first 8 races of the default series on Sunday, and I still managed to make the playoffs and actually the Final 4. So, I mean, that really, it's kind of unfair when you look at it like that. You got a guy that misses, the first 4 weeks.
That's just you showing off, though.
Well, I mean, not really. It's, you miss the first 4 weeks of the season, and then you're taking away a spot from somebody else that was there probably every week. So, I mean, it's just you're gonna have to show up. 50% of this is you just participating. If you show up and get last place points every week, you're probably still not going to finish last in the points.
And it also helps if you're not the fastest guy on the track, you might be the most strategy known person ever, and here you go, your pit strategy comes in effect. You have a chance to then, it just changes the whole game of the race, and it's awesome.
Yeah, I'm not very good at pit strategy.
Well, you'll learn. The more races you do, you'll learn pretty quick. And going back to Taddy talking about it being a rebuilding season. I started out season 3 with you guys, and you guys had just brought in, almost like I think you said it at the beginning of the season. From season 2 to season 3, there was 50 to 75 people that had joined in between that portion, and there was a lot of bumps in the road at the beginning of the season, and it really showed. Tempers flared. I mean, myself included, a couple times, but after looking back on, I wish I'd have been a little more patient because after racing the last couple race or the first to last race, and then also being in the booth for a lot of other races, the racing at the end of the season was night and day compared to the beginning of the season. Everyone got comfortable with racing around these people that they raced around for the whole season, and I think hopefully we'll see that transition over into season 4. I mean the fields are going to be a little bit bigger, I think, from what Taddy you said, but hopefully we can get through it without too many issues. I think it'll be more manageable this season now that you know how to manage a lot of people, whereas I think you were kind of shocked going into season 3 with the amount of people that showed up.
Yeah, I mean, and then there's always your issue with the playoffs again. End of a stage, people really, top 10 were getting playoff points, so they were extra points. If you finish 11, you got nothing. You got 10th, you got a point. With taking that away, lap 10 of the race, people probably aren't going to be so aggressive. The end of the race, you're still going to have the beating and banging for a win. That's typical. But hopefully, not just aggression, but just some of the mentality that people are using. Maybe they'll lift a little sooner, let off, no 3 wide, stuff like that. And I mean, I still fully expect first couple weeks probably be rough, as is every league, every first couple weeks. You know what I mean? Well, everybody's getting used to each other. New drivers moving up, some moving down. People got to get used to each other. But I think after that, it'll be really good racing.
What a perfect race to start off with at Daytona, too. You gotta love Daytona.
And I learned something, too. I
It's
learned
fun.
something. I'm even going to give you my secret. Everybody wants to run that 1-2. I found out a 5 or a 6 that I've been playing around with. It pulls up on somebody on a slider so well. If you hit that apron, you're not quite as jerky because you're not so tight. So, yeah, I'm excited to go super speedway racing right off of the rip.
It's a perfect race to start a season.
Except for with Money Mike, he'll leave you out to dry.
Well, it's a perfect race because you learn patience throughout that race. I mean, you don't want to be too aggressive because you might actually lose the track. So it's a perfect race to start the season. I love it.
It is, but it's also for the handling aspect. I don't know because I mean, you get to see the drivers you're racing around for the season. You get to see how well they can control their car, and the super speedway is definitely the hardest testament to controlling the car and keeping a good line. So they're definitely gonna find out the guys that you want to race with for the year, and you're gonna find out the guys that still need some work.
Going back to the beginning of this season. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, buddy.
No, I was just telling. I heard Mills. Real quick, Barry Springer out there in YouTube land. He wants to know if he can get an invite in the booth. As we're recapping, the entire season and rule changes and years to come and everything, is there? I got a question for you too. Is there going to be? Do you guys have any plans for the commentators / broadcasters? Is there going to be a new way you guys are going to do things, or work that over as we break it up, and then we'll get into our cup finishes and stuff? And is there a way you're going to keep running the booth the same way? I guess I know there's been a lot of inquiry about that.
I know we want to try to start an in-race reporter. That's something we want to definitely keep going.
And I think that's a great
something that is difficult to
lot.
do as a driver. Like, yes, it 100% makes the broadcast better, but as a driver, it's so difficult to stay focused.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. Like, Robbie told me that
going
he's
on
gonna
in the background, right? So. Yeah.
I mean, I asked Mills one night, and Mills respectfully declined because he said, "Hey, I need to work with my team." One night we had T Clay. Actually, the last race at Talladega, he was up there, but he said, "Hey, I gotta go. My teammate needs help." So, like you said, it is a lot of work and a lot of distraction. If I start getting to talk, I know that I lose focus. I'll be more than happy to do it, but please put me on do not allow, and I'm just gonna, tune you guys out until requestfully asked. But it is, like you said, Doug, very difficult. And Mills, you did it that one night, but he even said, yeah, it's too difficult right now. I got to focus. So that, a lot of respect for Mills saying that, because some of these people just want the chance to do that. But
that and the draft dependent tracks, man. Like, you want to be with your teammate on them draft dependent tracks, like Daytona, for instance, Talladega, Michigan Auto Club. The list goes on, but you want to be able to have that communication with your teammates throughout the race, and work with them. It's that'll be tough. And I think Robbie asked me to be the in-race reporter for the first Wednesday race at Daytona, but we'll see. That'll be tough. I'm super uncomfortable about that, but I'll be willing to do it for sure.
And it's not the easiest. It is nerve-wracking being up there. I did it 2 times with you, Bud, I think.
Yeah.
You got your own. You like to watch the race how you want to watch it. And then you forget, hey, we got 50 people watching.
Right.
It's a tough job.
So I just wanted to give a quick shout out to one of my newest members that I just recently assigned, Fast Claire 123. Man, appreciate you. I know you've been pretty respectful in the chats and stuff, and trying to figure things out, being a new driver. He's the perfect example of what's going to be happening in the next couple weeks with the developmental drivers being transitioned over to new teams. Just trying to get your feet wet, trying to figure out where you belong, trying to figure out when races are starting, where you're supposed to be. So, just the patience you got to have being a developmental driver for, however long you're going to sit in that chat. Just be patient, man. That's my advice to any developmental driver. You're going to get picked up. Somebody's going to see you. Someone's going to want you. Whether it be for a few races or a complete season, that's undetermined. But just be patient in the chats. I can guarantee you that all the captains always watch those races. I know I myself, I do. I'm always scouting those races secretively and talking it over with my guys and trying to find guys that fit the best with my team. Not necessarily the fastest guys, but guys that have uh, the most chemistry. I feel that I can fit into my puzzle. That's my thing. I'm just trying to find guys that will gel well with everybody else in the group, because honestly, that's like half. I mean, that's half of it right there. You need to have guys that can get along together first and foremost before anything else happens on the track.
Extreme Friday Night Dirt Series. He's out there in YouTube land. He says, need someone to ride in the back and not affect the rest of the field for in-race reporter, maybe, So, again, the idea being pitched out there. So that's very cool of you guys to be joining in out there.
So to go back to the initial question here, Puddin, you asked about the broadcast and what we're planning on trying to do with that. One thing that we struggled with this past season was getting 3 people in the booth on a consistent basis that would know the drivers. I know you didn't join until about halfway through, Puddin. You started knowing the drivers there at the end of the season, but as far as being caught up when you first joined, it was difficult. What we're going to try to do is we're trying to set up a program where each night that we have racing, you're going to have the same broadcasting crew week in and week out. So they're going to know from Daytona, they're going to start learning the drivers and who's in their vehicles, and then come the final race of the season, they should know and be able to keep up on who's done what throughout the rest of the season.
And is there a place that people can sign up, or are there designated names already? If not, other than, Friday nights, I know that's Edo and Roofer to do the development, and then, like I said, Friday night in truck, I'll do the M-race if need be, but, you got me the other 5 nights of the week if you need me.
Yeah, I mean, we got a list going on our Facebook. Anybody that's interested, just reach out to us, let us know what night you're free, and we'll see if we have an opening on that given night.
I like that idea of consistency, too.
Something I've looked into, I'm thinking about, helping with Wicked and the social thing. I'm thinking about trying to see if I can get a website started. Maybe we can even put rosters of each series. It's something I've thought about messing around with, and that'll help us out a lot with people. Get everybody's teams and rosters, truck number, car number, and that's something a commentator can pull up on their phone right then and there and have,
And that's a great idea, Mike. That's a great idea, because the very first night that, of all things, Robbie Vitt introduced me to Kate Taddy and said, hey, you want to do this? I said, sure. I literally have a composition book right in front of me that has names, numbers, point statuses. Every time I get an update, I keep writing everything down so I have it right in front of me. So if you did that for everybody else, I think that'd be a big help too for a lot of our fans out there to keep up to date.
So am I the only one?
Go ahead.
Am I the only one who thinks that we need some kind of theme song or something?
Yeah, right.
Because that'd be kind of cool.
Anthony Carr says, good evening. He wants to see some Giggity racing. We're not necessarily just racing tonight. We're doing a round table. Quite a few of the administrators, team captains up here. Anthony, we're just reviewing the season, going over next season, going over points and everything. So thanks for joining, man. Look at these. The viewers keep crawling up. I saw Noco was looking at that, too.
Yeah, definitely. I've been watching the comments here, just spying on who's coming in, who's going. But, we appreciate all the support, guys. We're up to 18 now. And it's really awesome. It's good to see you guys support your league. I mean, we do this for you guys, and you can't have a league without all the drivers, and it's just amazing. It's a really good group of guys. It's really come a long way. Definitely, I say it all the time, and it's come a long way. It's definitely expanded since I've been here and since season 2. End of season 1, beginning of season 2, and it's been incredible, man. The amount of support and the exposure that a lot of these guys have gotten, and just the racing has just gotten better and better with each season. So it's definitely a testament to, Chatty's hard work and all the administrators, and trying to see eye to eye on certain topics sometimes can be difficult, but I feel like we've come to a common ground on a lot of things, and the things that are working well. We just need to get the rest of these kinks worked out, and I think it's going to be full steam ahead.
And what I'd like to see too is, there are certain nights where we get quite a few viewers, 30, 40 viewers at one race, and then in some nights there's not quite as many. But if you go back, because of everybody's work schedule and family and their personal life, but if you go back and look at the broadcast, look how many views it gets afterwards. Everybody goes back and watches, so there's the support there too. It's great. Anytime anybody out there can participate and watch, support your teammates, support your friends, support the league, join in. Again, and we know it's difficult, but when you go back to watch how many some of these races get, the views that go, and Money Mike and Wicked, I mean, it blows your mind, a couple days later to see how many people watch it.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. I think that Kansas race for our Custom Cup is up to like 140 something views now, and that's just a week since that race, and that was an amazing race.
I'll have to admit, at least 5 of those views are just me. That's one race I could go back and watch each and every time. It's just the excitement of it.
The chat was blowing up. The commentators were blowing up. I'm sure the drivers inside their cars were blowing up.
It was. I had, and just going back to that night, man. I only had one thing on my mind, and that was to push Wicked, to try to get him to the win. It was a crazy race. In the chat, I was like, Wicked, let's go, man. Come on, are you behind me? Are you there? Are you there? Let's go. And then just the nerves that all of us drivers, I think we all get a little excited and start shaking, and your heart gets to thumping. You don't know if it's the rumble pack or your heart. But yeah,
I get just as many nerves. I mean, I talked to you after that one race, Wicked. You said that you were pacing back and forth, and the nerves were getting to you a little bit, and I know I do too. This goes out to my buddy Robbie Vitz, T. Clay, and Money Mike, but I get more nervous now than when I did when I raced my motorcycle at Mid-Ohio. But yeah, it is intense.
Let me go grab a Budweiser.
It's the pressure, man. It's just the pressure of just making it to the next round. It's even
insane.
It is. Even if you're clear, even if you're free and clear to the next round, there's still pressure there, man. It's, you want to make sure you're trying your best to maybe help a teammate out and maybe make sure somebody else doesn't, get into that next round, so you have one less person you have to worry about to race against, so.
Speaking of views, if you're one of the few people that haven't seen it, that developmental race in Kansas is up to 150 views already in one.
And they had to break that race down into 2 races. They were talking about doing a backup in case people didn't show up, and I love what the administrators did and said, we're going to give everybody a shot. We're going to break it up to 2 races. That was incredible to watch how it's grown so quick, But we've talked about and we reviewed a couple of the series, talked about what the broadcasting is going to happen for next year and stuff. Let's talk about Cup, though, guys. Let's talk about this Cup season that we just had.
Before we do Cup, I just have a question. Draft. When is the draft?
So next season there is no draft.
No draft.
Captains have been signing drivers throughout the course of the season, getting the roster ready for next season. So this time around, at least, there is not a draft. We're just going to jump right into season 4. What happens in the season after is yet to be determined, but that's what we're looking at for this year.
So these fun races that keep putting on, all the development drivers need to go out and still keep trying to prove themselves, since there's not technically going to be a draft, but the eyes are still on them for the next week and a half then, correct?
Oh, most definitely, man. You better go out there and do the best you can, or you ain't getting nothing.
There you go.
We already talked about how many teams there are. Correct me if I'm wrong, Noko, but 2 of these teams are brand new. And believe me, there is still a lot of space on those teams. And these captains are watching. And they are watching and watching and watching. So, believe me, there is still room.
Yeah, absolutely. And it goes to the other thing I was talking about earlier. You might have guys that won't fit well on your team, maybe 2, 3, 4 weeks into the season before the trade deadline. So you might even see guys getting swapped out from a team and somebody else getting picked up from developmental going on a team. So that has happened in the past, and I can almost guarantee you it's going to happen again for this next season.
Anthony Cars gives the old Wicked Gatekeeper a shout out.
Okay, now we can talk
Thanks
about
for joining us, buddy. Good to see you.
Let me apologize to all of our viewers and everybody out there. Not only did I do a lot of not breathing and a lot of yelling throughout the Xfinity series, but I think the Cup season was the one that gave me the most heart attacks, guys. I apologize for yelling, cutting over the other broadcasters. Now I just kept on talking. You guys put on one heck of a show, and it came down to the end of both races.
Yeah, it really did. I mean, one that's easier for me to talk about is the Wednesday custom series, and that was the night I was doing the in-race reporting. And I got to tell you, the last 15, 20 laps of that race, I was so into the broadcast and what was going on there, I couldn't even drive the car.
I mean, what you guys are doing to us.
It was so exciting, slider after slider and close quarters racing, and you know, there was obviously tension after the Kansas race, but me personally, I watch it from an unbiased standpoint. I saw nothing wrong with it. It was just close quarters racing, guys going for a championship. That's all there is.
Yeah, and even slider or custom, you guys, it was close all year long. Adversity had to be come back from by a lot of the drivers early in races. RJ Smitty, a couple times, you know, got taken out early or was in a mishap, and he came back and ended up making Homestead. And all year long, the track after track, race after race, it just kept getting more and more intense as the championship was coming down, Noco and Wicked. And I mean, you got Mills, especially too, man. That was one heck. Mills put on a demonstration at Kansas.
Yeah, Kansas was good to me, which surprised me. It's usually not one of my better tracks. Yeah, you know, it meant a lot to me. If you didn't know, it's been announced, but you know, I'm heading to the Xfinity Series last year, so that would have been my last night in my Cup car, my 2-car. It meant a lot to me to get the win at Kansas, for sure.
Y'all don't sleep on him winning that Xfinity Championship, man. I forgot you were moving down there next year.
I can't believe he's moving down there.
Being quiet about it and everything. I forgot about that.
Well, you know, it's like I said before, it's personal choice. You know, I got a family, and girl works some crazy hours, and I need to spend the time with her. Family comes first for me, so yeah, that's what I got to do to still be involved, but keep the home life happy.
That always comes first. We forget that, you know, everybody has, you know, their own personal business outside of the PlayStation world, so. Trying to balance both aspects of it is very difficult. Unlike you, Buck, no, yes.
Well, I thought that we were supposed to be strictly on PlayStation, nothing else. I have a headset strapped to my head. It's not allowed to come off. Have I been doing this wrong?
Perhaps.
All per your contract with your captain.
Thanks for telling me, guys. That's
you
awesome.
know what, Buck? I will say this, man. On the Sunday night, Smitty and I were going at it throughout the first stage. We were kind of in the back of the pack. When I saw you in my mirror in stage 2, man, I was scared because I knew you had a better car than both of us by at least a tenth a lap. So
I just kept getting stuck in the back, and I couldn't really get my way back up. Not gonna say why. I'm just gonna say I couldn't get myself back up there, and when I did, I lag out.
It's unfortunate.
Buck, you should have been in the 1 car. You wouldn't have lagged out.
Okay, yeah, I'm about to. But I will say, definitely not the best performance for my last races on Team Noco, but.
No, you did a heck of a job, man, all season long. I mean, you had to transition to a few different teams. Like, you still kept your composure. I feel like you're really growing as a driver. You're getting more mature each and every week. You still, you know, we still have our little issues and things and that, but I mean, you've done a great job, man. I'm really proud of you. A heck of a season. To make it to the final 3, you know, even though you lagged out, I mean, that's still a really good accomplishment right there.
The biggest problem with this whole season was myself. I keep getting in myself. I'm extremely, like, when it comes to racing and stuff, I'm extremely competitive. Then I let one mistake get under my skin, and that kind of ruined the whole race for me. But my goal for this next season is to not let it do that to me, because I can't. I hate that I do it, but I do it, and it needs to stop.
Right.
For you Cup drivers out there, is there any one race in particular that was the most memorable for you throughout the season? Because, I mean, they were so good all the time.
Man, there's
Gateway
quite a few.
Noco?
Yeah, I think Gateway for me was just default and custom. Gateway for me was just something that was,
That's
with Trout
really
going through all of his,
impressive.
with Trout going through what he went through, man, I made it my business. I PM'd him and I said, dude, I'm gonna win these races for you, and get better, man. We're gonna drive inspired. We're gonna win this championship. And I don't know, man. Just those next few weeks, we were just clicking. Everybody was just firing on all cylinders. I just felt like we elevated our game to the next level, and I think for me it was that Gateway race that really, I don't know, man, just really inspired me. It felt really good. Both races just felt really good.
I think for me, my favorite race was Custom Richmond. Like very early in the season, but I don't know what it was. That was just such a fun race. Me and Oko going at it, even though might have wrecked him. Not saying it did. Might have wrecked him. It was still a fun race, and then he legged out.
Oh, he did.
Yeah. I didn't mean to. The track's so loose. But it still was a pretty fun race, and I got the win, so yeah. It's either that race or the Roval default.
Mills, I can only assume which one it is for you, but
you
if I
might be surprised.
You, I know what it is. It's not Kansas where you dominated?
It's not Kansas.
It's ISM.
It's ISM. You nailed it, Noko.
When I already
Really?
know
Not
exactly.
Iowa?
Yeah, coming to the late stages of the end of the race, me and him we were battling it out there, and that was a really fun race too, on old tires, and it just came down to who's going to be able to control the car off the corner the best, and he did a really amazing job, man. He got me coming off a 2, and I got a little bit loose. He got a little bit loose. We made a little slight contact, but man, that race was phenomenal. That was a fun race.
That was my first Cup race in Giggity, so that one meant a lot to me. To do it legitly too.
Wicked.
Man, I'm torn. I think I.
Wicked likes that Kansas race earlier in the season.
Yeah, there wasn't nothing like trying to hold off the lead on the last lap and end up going the whole last lap, door banging with your captain. It was just, it was just a blast. And every time you go back, you hear the commentators added on top of that, and it made it.
They're side by
that
side
much
off
more.
turn 2.
Mills yelling after we crossed the line, just all excited, and it was that was great. And then each Kansas this last season was this great hard battle, and ended up picking up a plate track win at Daytona over the year, and actually snuck out at, I believe it was Darlington with a win off of a pit strategy.
We're not talking about Darlington.
Which happens to be, that's my one track that I'm almost like, okay, I'll see you guys next week. Just go ahead. I like clean racing, and it's just one of those places you can't pass without bumping. You're sitting there waiting, biding patience for 10 laps at a time. So it's just
definitely
not my style of a track, but to know that it was out of my least favorite track and pulling it a win, that was kind of up there in the memory.
It was a good one. That was awesome. I definitely have to say Darlington as well. I just haven't been able to close the deal on any Darlington race, man. Just something has happened at the end, and it's just that battle with Jay Wood at Darlington was epic. It was such a good race, but I don't know, man. Just the circumstances at the end. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, the win that Buck got at the Roval, the finish that Wiggett and Mills had, though, coming out of that chicane. Holy cow.
Is it weird that every time I've had a win, either it wasn't broadcasted, I wasn't in it, or I wasn't the main finish? It was always someone else.
Well, you almost gave that win away. We were talking about it in a booth where you had such a lead where we were saying back your corners up, slow everything down, take your time, and then 10 seconds later, wham! There goes
Bucks
Buck.
off the truck.
I was praying you made the mistake you made the lap before, so I went overzealous into that chicane. I ended up clipping the wall, and Mills got me, so it kind of double backfired on me. But yeah, that was a great finish.
Yeah, going through the last chicane, that last lap, I was having Vietnam flashbacks of the last lap. I was like, don't do it. Don't do it. But I watched the broadcast after, and I was like, thanks. Thanks for the curse. That's all I can really say.
The old commentator's curse,
But luckily it didn't fully get me. It was like a squid trying to pull you in, but I got out of its grasp.
I see Smitty in the chat with Kansas Custom and Pocono Custom. I know he put it down there at Pocono and
New Hampshire for Mills. That one sticks out too, RJ. Yup. You didn't know that was the race where Mills accidentally just annihilated RJ coming off for turn 2. Oh man, I think they had to cut him out of the car after that one.
I only got the broadcast, sort of halfway through the season. There's so many through all 3 series that, especially in dirt. We haven't talked about our dirt series yet. Some of the dirt ringers we've got over there, I hate to say ringer, but I mean, some of those guys are just stupid fast. And the dirt racing we've had was absolutely phenomenal, man. I mean, that dirt series is awesome.
Quoting, it's not nice to call people stupid. I just want to let you know.
Sorry, Buck. Yeah, we haven't talked a little bit about our dirt series. Does anybody have any updates on what's going to happen for that for next year?
For more or less, I think dirt isn't changing. There hasn't been anything posted that makes me think that anything's going to change with dirt. It's essentially the system that all the other series are going to, with no playoffs and having to dash your way in. So,
do you think that led to cleaner racing, or not necessarily cleaner, but more intense?
Well, I think you're going to get all your aggression out in the dash race.
There you go.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I like the whole concept of the dash. I really do. It just makes me a little bit nervous, that you, if I, for example, if I were to get a hot seat, I got a little bit more pressure if I do want to make that race. I got to dash in, whatever. So you got to get your points and show up every week, be consistent, and that way you don't really, the dash doesn't affect you as much,
So Barry Springer says Talladega for him until pit road penalty.
Yeah.
You got to love those pit road penalties.
So I have a quick question.
Shoot.
So, this season we had a series versus series race. Do you think that will be coming back?
I do believe we might do something like that. I myself, I would like to see another league versus league event. I would like to test our skills against another rivaling league. I think that would be awesome to do for fundraise, for bragging rights. I think we have more than enough capable drivers to put on a really good show for not only the fans but everybody in the Giggity community and in the other leagues too. Whoever the opposing league would be, I think it'd be a really fun thing. But I like the format for the All-Star. Me personally, I thought it was really cool. I thought it was well thought out. I hope something like that's going to come back for season 4. But as of right now, all of that's been undecided.
Yeah. But I am 100% behind you on that one, Noko. The All-Star race with series versus series versus series versus series was absolutely amazing. I had so much fun. It was so neat to see all the cars color-coded. And I swear I got raced harder because my car was green.
The reason I pulled this up is because I actually went back and watched the broadcast that I had on my channel, which is, funny enough, the last broadcast I did on my channel. And I kind of screwed myself out of the win, and managed to wreck the rest of the field. But that's a different story for some other time.
Those are good times, man.
It was within the last week. It was actually within the last week. Again, somebody recognized who I was and know I was a participant in Giggity.
Ooh.
And they,
Is that a challenge right there?
I like that.
I think that is a challenge.
Sunoco versus Giggity round 3. All right, it's on, man.
Some guy said, he said, let's get 8 of your best from Giggity and 8 of ours, and we'll race tonight. I was looking to see who was on, and Mills, I think I jumped in there while you were guys, you and RKN and Caddy, but you guys were doing esports practicing and stuff. But yeah, somebody said, bring your best 8 that you got on, and I got my best 8. And I said, I'll do that any day of the week.
Hey, so I just wanted to give a quick shout out, man. Dean. That's El Blanco is his gamer tag, which AKA El Succo. Hey man, that was some awesome racing with you at both of those league races, bro. When we did that Sunoco versus Giggity. I'm glad you joined the Giggity Racing League, but yeah, I'm down for it, man. Definitely. I think all these other guys are down for a round 3 too. I think you guys are up on us 1 or 2-0 right now.
We gotta pull it back.
Yeah, man,
I got to race with El Blanco the other night. Got to talk to him. I know there's some captains out there still looking for him. He's got to get a couple more races in, but it was awesome to talk to El Blanco. That man is super fast.
Yeah, he's really good. I just don't. I'm scared of Richmond with him now. That Richmond race with him really scared me.
There's just so many well-rounded drivers all around in Heat 4, and I still to this day think, like you said, we got over 300 subs. I don't know how many drivers, well over 200, and I think we have some of the best drivers on Heat 4. I'll say it all the time.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's it's a really good community in general. It's some of the best guys that you're gonna ever meet. On the PlayStation side, especially Heat 4. And a lot of these guys, they'll give the shirt off their back for you. They'll do whatever they can for you, even if it means, something personal in your life that you need help with. I mean, there's a lot of really good guys in this league, and it's just a testament to who we bring in, and it's a good example to lead by, and I'm really proud of all the members of the league in general, how they banded together for Roofer and A-Trout and Edtho. Just really cool, man. It's really good, feel-good stories to see stuff like that,
Yeah, I was going to say, too, everybody knows what was going on with that, though. In a matter of 3 hours, a short race was put together. Donations were made. We raised enough money. Everything that everybody's done for A-Trout. We've had a couple other, like you said, people out there that needed some help, and everybody said it's not about racing, it's about friendship. And, I mean, that's, again, it goes above and beyond the racetrack. I know we get mad at each other on the racetrack. We talk it out, we work it out, and then the next day, that person will be the first one to help you in need be in any situation, and that's so cool. There's 5 people I know for a fact that heard about that, everything with that though, and A-Trout. Watched that salute too. That was one of the coolest salutes ever. They saw that and they said, "How do I become a part of this? I want to be part of this." So just everything like that, it brought other people over too. So very cool, man. I mean, everybody out there I'm proud to call you all friends.
Oh my God, I have a friend.
Yes.
Even
Except for
me?
Buck.
Except for Buck.
Oh,
Except for
okay.
Buck.
No.
And Dirt Dog. Dirt Dog's muted.
Oh yeah. We won't worry about Dirt Dog.
But again, I came in halfway through the year, got to know you guys pretty well, and thanks for that opportunity. Like I said, I missed out on an opportunity earlier in the year to drive. I was a little resilient, but glad I did in the long run. Everything worked out, and I'm just happy to be here. So thanks for having me, guys, and thanks for listening to me have a heart attack almost every night.
Thanks for having a heart attack for us to enjoy, buddy. You made it exciting. And cheers my Keystone to you.
Definitely, man. Shout out to all the broadcasters. I mean, every single race is really entertaining, start to finish. A lot of engagement with the chats, and that's when you're having races have 150 plus, 250 plus comments in the chat. I mean, that's really awesome. That's really cool, man. It just shows the level of support that all the drivers give to each and every series, and it's just awesome to see, man. There's no other league that I've seen that has that many comments in there. in their race chat.
I've had the opportunity to some people ask me if I'd like to commentate elsewhere, and I said I'm sorry, I won't do it for anybody but here right now. You guys are my home, you guys are my family, and I appreciate it. One of the best races that I did get to commentate, and I know a lot of people out there were asking for it when it happened. It was awesome for me too, but I got to call a race with the one, the only, the man himself, Alex Ned. Now that was one cool race.
I got to win it. Yeah, baby. Yo, honestly, like, nomination for broadcast of the year that night. Absolutely. Well, I mean, to all the broadcasters out there who have done it throughout the season, and I mean, help me out here, guys, but I'm just going to start naming names. Puddin', Boomhauer,
Archangel,
Buck,
Archangel,
Robbie Vids,
NRG, Tron.
Yeah, like the list goes on. There's so many people that come together to put this show on and to make it exciting. And guys, we appreciate it so
Brian
much.
SP, the RKM just brought that up. He calls
Brian
it instead
SP,
of Pinky. Yeah, instead of Pinky and the Brain, he calls it Pinky and the Brian.
There's so
Great
many
to have
guys.
you out there,
like,
RKM.
I know we missed so many of you who have helped out in the booth, but just want to say thank you so much. It's one of the things that makes Giggity unique, to have commentators there every night, every series. It's awesome, man. So thank you.
Like I said, any day I get the invite, I'll be more than happy to do it. You guys make the show, and it that's the most fun part about it. Like I said, even with NASCAR being off on Sundays, 7 days a week we're going NASCAR racing here in Heat 4 Giggity style, and the action's even more intense here. So you're not out on any motor racing action per se by watching Giggity racing.
7 days a week, man.
Yeah, we're that special.
I mean, like right now, just this roundtable alone, we have 164 comments in the roundtable. That's amazing, man. We still got 14 viewers in the chat right now. It's phenomenal, just the support. I can't preach that enough. Just the support in general for this league and what it's about is just incredible.
Pinky in the Brain round 3. Love you, RKM. Shout out to you, buddy.
And I have always tried to uphold professionalism at the most part, but sometimes, especially during that second race, beverages might get a little affected. But RKM, man, he's got me in stitches.
Beer number 2.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but no, RKM. It's always. I just can't thinking about half the stuff he says. It's making me laugh right now, and we're going to miss you, RKM. We really will, and stay around, man.
Oh, he ain't going anywhere.
He ain't going anywhere. I've signed a different kind of contract with RKM. Yeah, don't you worry.
He'll be lurking around.
He'll be lurking. Don't you worry. He's always in the shadows.
Hopefully that contract does not involve him walking around in a man thong, though.
No, dear God, no.
I don't want to see your guys' personal messages.
I sure hope that's not real news.
RKM's still gonna be around, guys. But we're not. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna wrap this round table up. I appreciate everybody coming out and hang out today. We've had a lot of good guests, a lot of good comments, a lot of views. Mills has got to go to a race. We got a couple other guys in here that have to go to a race. So, any last comments, guys?
Thanks for a great season. Thanks for having me.
No, I just wanted to follow up and say one more time, shout out to all the new captains for the league. I want to give a shout out to all the new developmental drivers that have joined. I know we do have On a Mission has joined for Custom Cup. We mentioned it earlier, but shout out to AJ Storm and that group over there. A really good group of guys. They're doing special things over there, trying to build their brand. But it's really cool to have them come over here and join us on a Custom Cup night. I'm just real honored for them to do that. And just all the returning members from the previous season and the loyal fans and everything else. Just you guys have made this league, and I'll say it over and over again. It's not just one person; it's a collective group, and I'm just so thankful and so proud of all the support that you guys give each and every driver, broadcaster, admin, and our CEO, K-Taddy. But awesome season, guys. Just to put an exclamation point on everything, and I can't wait for season 4.
And congratulations to you, I'll definitely keep an eye on that 88 car. That's awesome, Noco.
Yeah, that's awesome, isn't it, man? I'm loving that. I'll be in that car.
Hey, if you ever get tickets, you know where I'm at. You know how to get a hold of me.
Right? Yeah, man. Got deep pockets to put my name on that car, man.
He didn't go to 48. I don't know.
Man, I kind of regret it now. Jeez. Oh man, I don't know. Maybe RJ will let me do a couple one-offs in the car. You know. We'll have to talk about it, RJ. Wink, wink. But
All right,
definitely,
Arch, I'll
thank
let you
you for all
take
the
us up, man.
support. Yeah, take us away, Arch.
Alright, guys. Like I said, we appreciate you all stopping out. We love talking about Giggity. We love bringing it to you guys. Like I said, it's only for you guys that we do this. It's not for us. We get our enjoyment on the track, racing each other. This is for you guys. For the exposure for our drivers for coming out, putting in the time, the effort. I know there's a lot of things that we got going on in life. So for everybody to come together, sit down and do this, and for you guys to come out and view it and watch it, we appreciate it, man. I can't wait to see you guys soon. We will do a couple more roundtables before we start off season 4. So don't you guys think you're gonna miss out on anything else? We'll have more signings, more updates, and more bull crapping around this table.
Sounds
All right, guys,
good.
you guys have a good one.
Y'all be safe.
Have a good night, guys.
Bye.